And it was extremely cathartic. Even the girls that I had in the music video, my friends, we had this moment where we had to like wash the clay off of each other. And, it was very intimate. We were all like crying, and we were like, this just feels so therapeutic and cathartic. Like we're just kind of getting rid of everything that people want us to be and just being ourselves instead.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Miltrick Media. I'm sitting down with Nashville singer-songwriter Becca Tremmel. Becca, how's it going?
I'm doing really well. I'm just happy to be here. Not in Brooklyn, but in Nashville.
Not in Brooklyn, yeah. We're doing a Zoom interview. Becca couldn't join us in Brooklyn, but I wish. Yes. Thank you for sitting down with me. It's a pleasure.
So, of course. Thank you for having me.
Yes. So you are in Nashville currently. What is it like living in Nashville and being a part of that music scene?
It has been an absolute wild ride. I moved here in 2013, so I have been here a minute. I would say it's just there's music happening constantly. Every time I leave Nashville and I travel somewhere else, I'm always like just shocked about just the culture is so different. Like we have bands everywhere all the time. There's gigs all the time, musicians everywhere. So I think it's just like a really cool culture, and everybody is really helpful here. Like it's not really cutthroat at all. I would say sometimes it gets like competitive, but not really. Every time you meet someone here and they hear about your story, they're like, oh, you should meet my other friend, or you should, everybody like tries to help each other out, which is really nice. There's like a camaraderie here that I really adore about Nashville.
Yeah, and like I was telling you off air, I went to visit Nashville for a week, September 20. I loved it. I want to go back. I definitely want to go back. Yeah, it was a really fun time. Food was great. Music was great. New York is great too. I love it, but Nashville was just a little different. It was just a different time.
For sure. Yeah, I love the food here. It's dangerous, but I love it.
It is. It gets you. It is dangerous, but you got to go through it. It's enjoyable. Yeah. It's a whole experience.
They have fried chicken or chicken tenders like once a day. So
that sounds like a good time. There's nothing wrong with that, honestly. Yeah, nothing wrong with chicken tenders. So what I want to learn about is your song Clay. So you released both an official version. You also released an acoustic version. So what inspired you to recreate that version with an acoustic version of the song?
So the past couple of songs I've put out and the future ones that I'm putting out, I'm doing an alternate version of each song because I feel like I feel like songs can have multiple lives. And for Clay, I really wanted, so on the original version, it's very cinematic. It's big. There's strings. There's like, it's like a movie, right? And no harmonies in any of it either. And so what I wanted to do, like a live video with my friend Gabe Baker, who plays cello, and he sings on it. And he like added these beautiful harmonies and this cello part that's just stunning. And I wanted just more like a more intimate, imperfect version. There's no like Melodyne or autotune on any of that. Like it's just like we recorded it. That's one take. We filmed, and we filmed it at the same time. And I just wanted like an imperfect, authentic, I guess, stripped down version of it because I felt the song just deserved that.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, that's really cool how you're going to be doing that with the future versions. Because I agree with what you said. There's alternate versions for every song.
For sure.
It's a new way to inject life into it. Why not do that?
Right. Yeah, I recorded a different version for the one I'm putting out, Relapse. That's like a totally different, it's not acoustic, but I feel like Relapse is such a bop, and I recorded like a really pop version of it too, because I was like, I feel like it has multiple lives. I feel most songs just have the capacity to have multiple lives. But
yeah, I agree that when I've released my own music, I would always release the instrumental. I did podcast-like episodes of behind the lyrics mix and the song, and I feel like that could help people get into it. Like that's more of them to stream. That's more that they could check out about the song, and it gives it an alternate lens. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And also just like, it makes it last longer. I don't want my song. I feel like it just deserves more than just a couple of weeks of promo and then it just, fades off into nothing. And I like to keep it going. I'm I'm like, here's another version, or here's a video, or here's a music video, or something like that, where it's just like, I feel like I put so much energy into the song and recording it, and I want to give it everything it deserves, like I just feel like they're my kids.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. Do you think that artists should release alternate versions of their songs as time goes on?
I feel like, it depends on the artist. I feel like it's been really helpful for me because another thing that I'm doing is I'm featuring another artist on every alternate version I'm doing. So for me, it's been like a really great way to involve the community that I have here in Nashville and the artists that I really adore, and getting to have them sing on the song or play on the song or help produce it or something, do anything for it. And I really like that I'm able to make it like a community thing too. But I feel like it just depends on the artist and what they feel is best for their work. And, for me right now, I just feel like putting out multiple versions is really cool and I'm into it. So
No, that's great. That's great. So your song Clay, let's talk about the inspiration behind that song. What inspired those lyrics?
Yeah, I was kind of going through a situation where I felt kind of manipulated, like at the end of a relationship or what I thought was the end. I just felt like I wasn't myself anymore. Like the person I was before the relationship was a completely different version of me. And, what changed? And I think for me, it was just that person had really imprinted on me like their own beliefs and what they wanted me to be and, made me into this whole new version of myself that I just didn't feel comfortable in. And I was thinking about it. I was thinking about that idea for a long time. And I just sat down at the piano one day and I just started writing the song Clay. And it just, I poured my heart out into it. I wrote it pretty quickly. I don't typically write songs very quickly, but I wrote Clay pretty fast. And yeah, it just kind of became the whole idea. Even after I wrote it, I didn't really necessarily know fully what it was about, but I knew later on it was like going from being someone's own art, someone's muse, someone's thing that they created into becoming like an artist myself, becoming into somebody, I'm not someone's work of art. I am an artist. And kind of embarking on that whole journey, which is what's led me into putting out other songs. And, I took pottery classes for it and I covered, I don't know if you've seen any of the photos, I covered myself in full body, body paint and posed as a statue. And I did that for the music video and it kind of just took on its own life.
Yeah. And that was for the cover art as well, right?
Yeah. And it was extremely cathartic. Even the girls that I had in the music video, my friends, we had this moment where we had to wash the clay off of each other. And, it was very intimate. And we were all crying and we were like, this just feels so therapeutic and cathartic. We're just kind of, getting rid of everything that people want us to be and just being ourselves instead,
Yeah. What was it like shooting that music video?
It was my first one. So I was so nervous and I'm a planner. I love getting everything organized. I love a to-do list. I love a color-coded to-do list. So for me, it was just, I joined with my friend Tyler with Wingman Visuals, and he just brought my whole idea to life. I wrote out this whole storyline that I had for years, and he was like, that's going to be really hard to do, but I think we can do it. And we rented out this massive warehouse in East Nashville and kind of set up. I went to Home Depot and I got these podiums and fabric and 18 bottles of body paint and just tons of stuff. I was in charge of the props. And then we all get to this warehouse the first day that we were filming it, and we set up a corner, and we're all just painting each other, trying to get to get each other to look like statues. And Tyler was amazing professional. It was him. He had 2 people on the team, and they just knocked it out of the park. They were so amazing, and I was nervous because I was I don't know how I look on camera. I don't know how I feel about that. but he made everything so comfortable. He like let me direct shots and showed me what was going on. And it was a really amazing experience.
That's great though, especially for your first music video.
Yeah.
That sounds really cool.
I was nervous though.
Yeah. With that song, Clay, so you said it began with you sitting down at the piano, fleshing it all out. Who did you write that song with, and who did you produce that song with?
I wrote it by myself, and I produced Clay with my friend Tommy Harden. He is an amazing producer here in Nashville. Has worked with so many incredible people, and he is my good friend's dad. And so she showed him my music, and he was like he was willing to work with me, which was amazing. And we recorded a few songs together, songs that I'll also put out eventually. And yeah, that was a pretty quick process too. We recorded, and it probably took a month from start to finish, from just getting it down to end product recording. But yeah, it was really cool because he had like a professional studio and professional musicians come in, and it was like, yeah. I felt pretty cool.
Real music industry shit.
Yeah, and I got to play the piano on it, so that was really nice.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and he had that production too was so crazy. He had strings and a mandolin player and like this massive drum that I think he sampled from some like Lord of the Rings. I don't even know. But it was just crazy. He did a lot of cool stuff on it. And
Clay came out in 2020, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yes. So all the songs you released that year,
2021.
2021, I got you.
Yeah.
Well, some of your other songs include Magnets. All the way back to 2015, you released the single Chocolate.
Oh, God.
So you started releasing music in 2015, right? Or was it before that you used to release any other music, or is that where it started?
That's I think my first single, it was called Dandelion.
Oh, cool.
And I released it my sophomore year of college, which I guess would have been 2016, the year before Chocolate, maybe 2015. When did I start college? 2014.
Yeah. Oh, I started college in 2015. Wow. Yeah. So about the same time.
Yeah.
Cool. So how would you feel that you've evolved as an artist from 2015 to now, from releasing Chocolate leading up to Relapse?
So the songs that I used to write, like Chocolate, I really enjoyed writing humorous songs. That was just kind of my niche at the time. And I think that I really enjoyed playing them out too, because I could see people laughing and I could see them reacting to my song, and I was nervous because when I would perform like really deep emotional songs, like you can't see how people were reacting. They're just staring at you, I liked to play the funny ones and write the funny ones because I'm watching them react. I can see that they're enjoying it. And that was, easier for me to do than performing emotional ones. Mm-hmm. And then I feel like I've developed with just my lyricism and writing with people. And also when I was releasing music at that time, I really didn't consider myself an artist. I would say I was more of a songwriter and writing with other artists. And I worked on a cruise ship in 2019.
Oh, wow. Cool.
And random 7 months of my life. And when I came back after performing every day for 4 hours on a ship to these people, I was like, I could do the artist thing. I feel really good about my performing abilities, feel good about the songs I've been writing. Like, I can do this. Before I was scared, but I think I can do it now. And so since then, I've just been 100% pursuing it and putting out music that I'm really proud of and that I really believe in. And, I did believe in Chocolate, but I think it was just like, for me, it was just like a fun thing I was doing. And now it's a bit more serious for me.
Yeah. But that's cool though. That was still a part of your journey and that led to where you are now.
Oh, for sure. That's why it's still online.
Yeah, I know what you mean. So your time on the cruise ship in 2019, you said you spent 7 months there. Would you feel that time? So it wasn't not until 2019 where you felt like, okay, I could really pursue this full time.
Yeah, I think I didn't have confidence in my performing abilities. Like, I've performed my whole life, But after you get to Nashville and go to Belmont and meet all these people who are insanely talented, you're just like, oh God, like I'm not like them. I can't do that. And I just didn't really have that confidence in myself after moving here. I had confidence in my writing, but I was like, I don't know about the whole artist thing. It's a lot of work. It's scary.
Yeah.
And yeah, but then, I mean, after the ship, I was performing on the ship, I was performing every single day. It was my actual job. Like it was my full-time job being a musician, right? You know, I was on a cruise ship, but that's still what it was.
Yeah.
And that kind of gave me the confidence to just really pursue it, I think, you know. After being away from Nashville, I was like, I have to do this. Like I know in my heart that I want to do this and I'm not scared anymore.
I mean, 7 months, you were honing your craft. You were performing hours every night.
Yeah.
So you said that set you up for where you're at now. That kind of put you through the music boot camp as an artist.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, it was awesome. I saved up a lot of money. I met so many people. And, you know, all the things that I was scared of happened, you know, when I was on the ship, but people not reacting well, people coming up and telling me that they didn't like my voice or they didn't like, you know, something. And that's what I was always nervous about. It's like, oh God, people are going to be so mean to me when I'm an artist or say mean things. And then it happened. And I was like, nah, this isn't that bad.
Yeah, right.
Or, you know, there were way more people that liked me or liked what I was doing or liked my songs and request my original songs over covers. And, you know, for that, I was just like, oh, okay, I could do this.
Yeah. Not a lot of people could say that they made a living as a musician at some point in their lives. And even going through what you said, that's hard to go through, but you push through it. Not a lot of people have been able to do that either. So that sounds like a really unique experience. That sounds really cool though.
Yeah, it was amazing. I would recommend it to anybody that's interested in it because you get to travel. I was with my best friend. I was in a duo on the ship. And so we were together through it all, which was really nice. And you meet incredible people from all over the world and work with them. And yeah, you're playing music every day and that's your job. That's all you do. So it's just, you get really good at, you know, just playing guitar. I became a way better guitar player. I was good before, but like, I was nothing, you know, I was practicing every day for 4 hours.
Yeah.
And now, and also coming back, I was more comfortable playing those really long cover gigs because I knew a bunch of songs now from the ship and I had that stamina to perform for a long time, you know?
Oh yeah. And expanded your repertoire. Performing is a workout. It's not easy to do day in and day out, hours at a time. Your voice gets shot, like everything.
For sure. And learning how to interact with the crowd and not being like afraid of them or afraid of requests or just learning how to talk to people. Because that's all they are. There's people. They want you to do a good job. You know, you want to do a good job and you want them to be entertained. And I was an entertainer. That was my job. And so it's, I think it kind of killed my imposter syndrome a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now, what advice would you have to your younger self?
I would say when I was younger, when I first moved here, I was really scared of not doing things right or just, you know, pursuing things too hard that I'm labeled as a bug or, you know, and then just someone who's annoying, like to the point where they don't want to work with me because I want it so bad. And so I was afraid to reach out, to be in rooms with music industry people or to write with certain people. I felt like I just wasn't at that point. I was an aspiring songwriter. I was an aspiring artist. I wasn't, you know, I just had that imposter syndrome that I think a lot of people have when they move to Nashville. And I would say just try to get rid of that as soon as you can and tell yourself, like, as soon as you start saying, I'm a songwriter, I write songs, I'm a songwriter, I put out music, I perform music, I'm an artist, you know, I'm not an aspiring artist, I'm an artist.
Yeah, you're staking your claim.
Yes. And like, if you are in rooms with people, then you are worthy of being there, instead of just, or if you're performing with certain people, or if you're like, you are worthy of being on that stage because you're there. And instead of just comparing yourself and just feeling like you're never good enough or not as good as the other people or something like that, or just like you're not worthy of being there, I would say to myself, you are, and you need to get over that.
Yeah. You got to get over and just push forward if you want to have a successful music career. 100%.
For sure.
So let's talk about your new song, Relapse. So Relapse is going to be out July 29th on all platforms. Let's talk about that song. Where did that song begin?
So it's a funny story. I would say I kind of started writing it after there was one night. I was in an on and off relationship for a really long time, and like years and years. And I was in an off period with them, and I had just gotten out of the shower. I like grabbed my hair in a towel, and it was probably midnight, maybe 1 a.m. And I was like, I have to go to their house right now. I have to drive there immediately. Like, I have to talk to this person in person. I'm going to do it. And I just got in my car, and I wasn't wearing any shoes or socks. I think that's illegal. Don't press charges. And with my hair in a towel, and I just drove to their apartment, and they had moved to a new apartment, and I'd been there once, and I didn't have the directions. I was like, I'm just going to wing it. I'm just going to go. And I got there, and I knocked on the door, and no one answered. And I was like, what am I doing? It is 1:30 in the morning. I haven't talked to this person in 2 months. Like, what is going on with me? And it was just in that moment, I was like, this is like an addiction. This is a force that I don't even understand that is pulling me to this person. And it is scary, but it's also really exciting. And I drove home, and I started writing this song like the next day, I feel like. And yeah, I was listening to a lot of John Bellion at the time, who I adore. And I loved the way I loved how he does rhythm and the way he phrases things and how they fit into a rhythm thing. And usually what I was writing was very conversational, was very like, easy to say. It wasn't rhythmic. And so I tried that, and it came out as Relapse, and I really liked it. And it was something different, and people who were listening to me, and I would play that song, like that was different than anything else I had done before. So I think it grabbed people's attention, and it's still now like one of my favorite songs that I've written, just because it was like a turning point, I think, for me. And yeah.
Did you write that song with any other songwriters, or was it just you solo?
Just me.
Yeah, nice. What about production? Yeah. Let's go through the production for this song.
Yeah, so I've recorded it twice now. The first time I recorded it with Tommy Hardin, and we got kind of like that super pop version. And I love that version. And I'm going to put it out, and I wanted to, but I also wanted like a sadder type version. I felt the song deserved, it's not a happy song, and I didn't want it to sound happy. So, and I was already doing multiple versions, so I was like, might as well
do
this. Exactly. Yeah. So about a year later, so in December of 2021, I started working with my friend Dylan Pines, I met at Belmont. And I've always adored him and his work and the way that he works. And we hadn't really done any serious recording or producing together, but he had come to one of my full band shows, and he came up to me afterwards, and he was like, I love these songs. Like, if you ever want someone to produce them with, just let me know. And I called him the week afterwards, and I was like, I have 3. And we started producing 3 like a month later. And so Relapse, we started working on in December of 2021, and we finished like a month ago.
Yeah.
So it's been like a 6-month process, but it was hard. We tried a lot of different routes. The first thing we did for the song was he got out this massive like whiteboard, like you would make for school, like one of those big poster board things.
Yeah.
And he was like, we're just going to cut out a bunch of pictures and you're going to make a collage of what you feel like Relapse sounds like or looks like or feels like. And we're just going to create this aesthetic, which I love an aesthetic. So I just, I'm sitting on his studio floor and I was cutting out the pictures and like putting them in this certain areas and places. And it was looking very vintage, very like cinematic, but sad, like indie cinematic. And it's not a happy song. And even though it's rhythmic and it's like pop, I wanted it to still have that somber, like melancholy, somewhat devastating in moments feel, as well as the highs, because that's what it's about. It's about the highs and lows of an addiction to a person. And I really wanted to capture the lows, especially. And so we went in and started recording it. We did a demo first, and we did it. Yeah, we produced it together, which was nice because we worked really well together. And he let me kind of do whatever I want. I like brought my typewriter in and I recorded like beats on my typewriter. And because we were just like throwing shit at the wall. Like it was just like
cooking up beats on that typewriter. Cooking up beats on the typewriter. That's awesome.
We were just like trying everything and trying different sounds and like a lot of ambience. There's rain falling in it. There's car doors slamming, like, and you can't really hear it, but you can feel it. And that's what I wanted. I wanted it to feel like the drive over to someone's house.
Yeah.
When you are being pulled to them.
And
like
that's
I was that night.
All those samples you just mentioned, those are the things that were in there, but the listener at first glance may not know, but they will eventually. It makes it that whole cohesive picture. Which
Absolutely.
is cool to find out because you don't always hear about that or know about that from an artist's song first listen. You know what I mean?
Yeah. When we had the typewriter in, the one day that I brought it after we recorded the beats, we just recorded a whole track of me typing out a letter to the person that I wrote the song about. And I just like wrote this whole letter during the, 4 minutes and 4 seconds of the song. And we left that track in there just like really low, but it's in there. And even just having that just meant so much to me because I wanted everything about the song to be authentic. I wanted it to, like, it's a very emotional song for me and it's not a happy song. And I didn't want it to sound like one. So.
Yeah. And in your content, you show this, you create poetry, other forms of artistry. So how does poetry and other forms of artistry influence your music?
I started writing poetry in, I want to say 2016, because I loved that I could I like the way poems kind of flow. They're different than songs. And sometimes like I would write something thinking it's a song and I'm like, no, that's a poem. And I started writing like obsessive amounts of poems in 2016. Like I just every day. And some of them suck and some of them were good, and I just kept doing it. And I'm actually in the process of putting together a book, a poetry book that kind of looks like what I've been posting on Instagram. And, I've been painting. I type them out on my typewriter and then I paint on them. And then I like throw some dead flowers and like leaves and shit. And I take photos of it. And I just love the way it looks. I love the aesthetic and it's like really artistic to me. And I wanted to emphasize, so a whole other thing, with each song I've been putting out, I'm emphasizing a different art form. So it kind of started with my song, I Can't Hate You, which came out before Clay. And that was photography. So I used, in the single cover, I'm like holding a Polaroid picture and I've got Polaroids surrounding me and dead flowers. And it was really dramatic. And then, so with I Can't Hate You, all the imagery was like photography, photos, Polaroids, all that. And then with Clay, pottery, clay, and I took pottery classes and I, the lyric video for Clay is literally just me throwing a pot and the words are coming up, on the side next to me.
Yeah.
And I want it. So in each thing I'm emphasizing a different art form, and with Relapse, it's writing. And I wanted it to be writing, one, because I feel like it's a romantic song. And I feel like writing for me is very romantic, and it's my favorite art form. And I wanted to use it for my favorite song. And, growing up reading about romance and love and all that stuff, it's so intense and passionate, and it's like this whole thing. And then I felt kind of like lied to because then when I was experiencing that, it was horrible. And so I wanted it to feel really romantic, because Relapse is really romantic. It's sexy. It's, all of that, but it's also absolutely devastating. And so I feel like, yeah, that's why I'm emphasizing writing for this song.
Yeah.
With the typewriter and all that.
Like we said, cooking up beats on a typewriter, but that is a really cool connection, and how you're bridging it together. So with Relapse, what is your marketing plan for this song?
So I am working. This is the first time that I actually have people who are helping me, which is really nice. Obviously I've had, team members in the past, but it was more just like, oh, like this is my videographer and this is my my producer and this is, but all of the marketing and all of that stuff has been me by myself this whole time. And so it's been really nice, because I've had a couple people within the past 6 months just reach out, and because of what I did with Clay and all of that release, people were interested. They were like, this is weird. This is different. This is interesting. And they wanted to help me on new projects and future projects. And so I started working with Michael Morales. And he's been like a massive help with just putting a single strategy together and, using everything that I did for the other singles, but adding even more. So, I've been doing interviews and podcasts and submitting to all blogs and playlists and all the usual things that go into releasing a single. I actually have like a massive to-do list, color coded on what I do with releasing every single. I love fully changing the brand and the colors and everything that goes into the imagery for it every time I put out a new song, because I want it to be like, oh, we're in a new era now. This is a new song. This is a new thing. She's doing something else. I don't want it to be like, oh, I'm putting out a song this Friday. That's that.
You're shaking things up a little bit. You're changing it.
Yeah. So with this new one, I'm going to be doing a music video again, which I'm excited about. And then blogs, interviews, playlists, lyric video. Trying to think. Oh yeah, the alternate version, of course. That features my best friend Emery Adeline on that track. And then, I think that's it.
Nice. That sounds great. So a few weeks after this song is released, how do you plan on keeping people engaged with Relapse?
So what I try to do is I just keep putting out more stuff. So I put out the song, and then I want to put out the lyric video, and then maybe a blog post on, the song and the story behind it and everything that went into it. And then the alternate version, and then a music video. And then, I want it to go on for a couple months, and just keep bombarding people with Relapse.
You got to let them know. Nothing wrong with that.
Exactly.
You got to push it out there.
Exactly.
So,
I basically just try to treat it like an album.
Yeah, honestly, that's a great move, because singles are now albums in a way. Albums are, of course, albums, but if you're trying to build a buzz, you're trying to build up your artist career, singles, I think for the up-and-coming artists are the best way to go, because
I agree.
You could even make an album's worth of material and split it up. You could, of course, then release the album, but I think it's better to build buzz with singles first. I mean, because why are people going to necessarily invest in an album unless you're the top of the top?
Absolutely.
You know what I
I mean,
mean?
I would love to put out just like an album, and that's what it is. But I also think it's really fun because I have an album's worth of material. That's what I'm putting out now, but I'm just putting them out as singles.
I think that's a great strategy. I think it's a great strategy.
They each get their day in the sun. They're not like just an album track. And because I put a lot of energy into them, and I feel like they each deserve their moment to shine.
Yeah.
So just treating every single one like a single.
If you treat them all like a single, then you're giving them their own life.
Yes. Yeah.
So besides Relapse is coming out soon, you have content and a music video planned. What else does Becca Tremmel have planned for 2022 and beyond?
So I'm going to be putting out, in theory, 3 more songs in 2022. Which is a big thing for me because there's a lot of time in between when I've been putting out songs, but I'm going to get faster at that. So yeah, I have 3 more songs coming out that have completely different imagery and vibes than Relapse and Clay and I Can't Hate You. So yeah, and then more shows. I played a few full band shows at the beginning of the year, and I'm kind of taking a break from that right now, just focusing on releasing Relapse. And so more full band shows, playing around Nashville, thinking about doing a tour in October around the West, where I'm from. So yeah, just all the things, you know.
Yeah, that sounds great. To leave it off on a positive note, what is one thing you want to leave to your fans, your audience? What's one thing you could give to them? Advice.
Advice. Wow, that's a great question. I would say advice to my fans. I feel like people who listen to my stuff or, you know, read my writing or my blogs or my poetry or all that stuff, whoever has supported me for however long they have, I feel like they appreciate authenticity. And even when it's really hard, or when I look back on it and it's kind of cringy, or it's not, you know, I don't ever want to come across like I'm a perfect person or that I don't have issues or struggles or failures. And I try to showcase that just as much as I try to showcase my wins and my pretty stuff.
Yeah.
So I just feel, and it's really good for my own mental health. And I also feel like it's good for people who are looking at my stuff. And I, you know, for anybody who compares themselves to me, like how I compare myself to that perfect Instagram profile that I go to every day. And I'm like, how are they so perfect? I just don't want anybody to like come to my profile and be like, oh God, like she's, you know, she's picture perfect.
Yeah.
And I would encourage other people to try to adopt that theology, because it's really good for your own mental health, but it's also good for everybody else's.
Yeah.
You know, just being authentic rather than being perfect.
Yeah. Becca, where can we find you on all social media channels? Let the audience know all of your handles.
My handle for everything is at Little Lion Becca. Based every single thing.
YouTube,
Yeah.
TikTok, IG, everything.
YouTube, I think it's just Becca. It's just Becca Tremmel, but TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, is at Little Lion Becca.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you for sitting down with me on this episode of Miltrick Media. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Guys, be sure to check out Becca Tremmel on all streaming platforms, her music, as well as on social media at Little Lion Becca. Her new song, Relapse, will be out on all streaming services July 29th. Be sure to check it out. And Becca, thank you again. And thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Miltrick Media, and we will see you soon. Thank you so much for checking out the video. If you haven't already, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Miltrick_, and on TikTok at Miltrick. Thank you.